every time I'm thinking of a scenario and I'm like, Cole, I'm thinking about doing this, or Cole, I think I need this. And you're like, oh, I do that. Oh, I do that. And I'm like, dude, you're a one-stop shop. When it comes to real estate, basically,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's nothing you don't do. I mean, technically, you're in real estate, assisting people that way. You're in property management, building apps, websites.
Yeah.
Like, besides photographing and doing the video part of it. So for the clients that actually work with you and get to know your aspect, like, you are really a one-stop shop for people.
Yeah, when it comes to real estate and or marketing or real estate marketing, it's all that. Real estate license, own a brokerage, own a marketing company, know how to do 3D stuff, websites. It's been my life for like the last 10 years, and if there's something I don't know how to do, I really want to learn, because it's just I come way too far to like quit problem solving now.
But like with the realtors that do work with you,
Yeah.
they know you don't actively pursue it. Like very
Yeah.
very little you ever bring up the real estate aspect, even though you are in real estate.
Yeah.
But it's also, you come from a real estate family, right?
Yeah, so my mom's a realtor, and I think the reason that all of this goes so well is like I've been trained in real estate. I know how to do it. I really only do it for friends. I don't really like doing the sales. I've helped mom with that forever. Mom's been licensed as long as I can remember. I remember going to Liberty Village and helping her sell, or helping her at the townhouse in Pirandello, and going to these open houses from a young age. So, she was hammering into me like, okay, toilet seats down, cars out of the driveway, make the bedrooms look big, like just all these rules that it didn't seem like I knew a lot until other realtors or people in the industry complained about something else. I'm like, oh, I learned that when I was 16.
Cole, it blows my mind when I've seen properties.
Yeah.
I've seen one set of photographs for it before.
Yeah.
You come in, you haven't repainted it. Still the same furniture in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, but with your equipment and the way you stage it and put it together, it looks like a totally different place. It absolutely blows my mind. And it's not like it's taking you 100 hours to do this, but you have that formula down. You see, I visited with you before. I've seen you in action.
Yeah.
And you spot it, your brain just goes into overdrive, and the second you see it, you already see where you want to go with the space.
Yeah.
Is that something that you instinctively were born with, or is it something because of years of practice, or how do you do it? Because I marvel at the quality of your products.
I think the biggest thing was it started out as a necessity. I started out not getting as many jobs as I wanted to. Like, one company took a chance on me and gave me some feedback, and I was a terrible photographer. And then I actually took the feedback so poorly. I said kick rocks. Like I just never responded to them. And then another company shortly after gave me, but it was freelance, so I had to do good. I had to take feedback, or else I wasn't going to get a job. I got one $60 shoot a week for like a few weeks, and I really had to show them like, no, like I'll do better. I'll figure that out. And then it was also, I didn't get paid for my time. I just got paid for the project, so I had to do it fast. I had to do it well. I obsessed over it, and then poor financial planning led me to like spending all my money right before winter, and then it died. And then I got 2 more jobs like for other companies, and I made sure that everybody knew like, okay, I'm trying to find my own clients. I got your clients. There's other people I'm working with. I know how to like operate like in good faith. I'm not telling anybody about my company or theirs. And so that got me through winter. And then when summer came, I kept all 3 jobs. And so for a solid 2 years, like 16-hour days, just photo, video, trying my best, learning it fast, learning the systems, problem solving. That was another thing too. I shoot and edit, so that's how you really see like, oh, okay, if I messed up and they complain, that's one thing, but there's also little things that they don't see, but I'm like, oh, this could look better, so next time I shoot. So it's just practice, your 10,000 hours, that kind of thing.
Well, it's a 2-part question comes to me as you're saying it, because meeting you, getting to know you, being friends with you, hanging out with you. I mean, we've played pickleball together. We're going to play tennis tonight.
Tennis later, yeah.
Yeah, so it's good life.
Yeah.
I can say, if I wasn't working with you and I met you, first glance, easiest going guy on the planet. Everything's carefree. We're all good. That's the person. That's the energy you bring, which is really good. Very, very calming.
Yeah.
But then watching you in action, you're the most OCD guy when it comes to every minute little detail.
Yeah.
And I would say you're as perfectionist as it comes to your work, the quality of your work. And how do you do that? Because I know for myself, I'm very similar.
Yeah.
How do you reach that point where you're saying, I'm happy with it versus I can keep tweaking? At what point do you let it go and saying, I'm happy with it?
That's the hardest part. Like, God rest his soul, my dad, he said, if you're gonna do something, just be the best at it. Like really, that's one piece of advice that I took. And it's even harder in architectural photography. Like, there are some people that will pay me a lot of money to like take a photo of their baby, and I like you wouldn't believe. Like, you see the work and the attention to detail that comes in like a property shoot. But if there's just one photo to be had of a space, brand new kitchen or something like that, I might spend 2 hours shooting that. I might light each individual piece of furniture and wood from a different light with a different modifier, and then Photoshop it all later. And it might take 5 hours to edit. That's when things get a little crazy. But when it comes to real estate, it's like I need there to be like no realistic complaint. And I'm setting like a guideline in my head of where it's like, okay, what is reasonable? Because I could spend 7 hours on one photo, but they need 60, and they need to turn around in 24 hours. Like, what is realistic? And then I think I just got to be at least a little bit better than everybody else. It's probably not a healthy thing to say, but it's like, if somebody else could do it, well, I could definitely do it, and I could do it faster. So those have been my benchmarks, and just how I've decided to. But if I see something that I don't know how to do, my brain will go crazy until I figure it out, and then I got to make sure it's repeatable, and then train the staff, and just do all that. But I just want to be the best at what I do. So it's good to have healthy competition, or else I wouldn't be as good as I am now.
Well, that being said, now that perfectly segues into the second question I had, because being a perfectionist, then
Yeah.
how do you find the people you work with,
Mm.
train them, and how do you delegate? Because it's such a fine art from a leadership standpoint. Because
Mm.
something I talk about with my partner David Corman over at Kormans LLP, and
Yeah.
David says to me often, I can do this lease, for example. I can do it better. I can do it quicker,
Mhm.
but I have to learn how to let go and delegate and teach others. And I
Yeah.
know it's going to take me a heck of a lot more time,
Mhm.
but I know at the end of the day, then I'm bringing them up that they're going to be able to take things on to help take my workload down. But
Yeah.
it's a very hard thing. And the longer you go without delegating, the harder it becomes. So, how did you find as far as delegation in the professional realm for you?
I think, and what's nice is about being so good at what you do as well is um, getting over delegating. Like, you have to realize nobody's going to do 100% of what you do as fast. They might do 80 if you're lucky. So you have to be so good that your 100 is just unreasonable. So like, my 100% is 7 hours on a photo. So 80% of that is still better than most. So if you're that good, and that have that much knowledge, and you can teach that well, it's you can kind of teach anybody. So when I hyper obsess about all these little things, it's like I've got a detailed like 2-page list of like how not to mess this up. Like, there's no way you're gonna mess it up. Like, I know for every little detail of like how high things should be shot in the kitchen, how high things should be in the bedroom, how much like symmetrically should the walls be to make everything look even, how not to make the walls look wonky, how to just show everything in the best possible light. And so it's very scientific, and given enough time with someone that is willing to take feedback. So that's the biggest thing. You want to make sure they're friendly, and for what I do, because they're going to be going into people's houses. I've heard of photographers being complete jerks, walking out of appointments. And one of the things I guess people like about me is I'm easygoing. I'm very polite and respectful. If you send me somewhere on your behalf, I'm representing you. And I got a guy that I send people to when they ask for mortgages, and whenever I get the call back, oh, I spoke with him, he's amazing. Oh, you know what you're doing. Like, I like to be that. So you send Cole or someone on Cole's team somewhere, you know, everything is going to be okay. So I just look for, people that can take feedback, and, just friendly overall people. And everybody I work with, I seem to find as a friend. I just don't want any negative energy. I'm not super into all that, but yeah, it just needs to be good vibes. And I teach you, and you say yes, and then we can go from there.
Well, you and I have a very common denominator in that we work with a lot of realtors,
Yeah, yeah,
and they're an interesting bunch.
yeah,
Let's be
yeah,
frank.
yeah, yeah,
Very, very interesting bunch. Like, if you've ever gone to galas,
yeah.
Christmas dinners
Oh
for,
yeah,
for brokerages, realtors are just the most interesting people there are. And it kind of like there's a trickle down effect,
Mhm.
because when I talk to other suppliers, and we are suppliers, let's face it, like
Yeah,
we're no different than the gardener
yeah,
or the ad agency guy.
yeah.
We're all supplying businesses, so to speak.
Mhm.
And from the realtors end of things, when they tend to be tense, it's because somebody's being tense with them. There's a whole trickle down effect. So,
Yeah,
and especially, and one thing I sit and educate a lot of realtors, especially the new ones, and I tell them, sometimes you're working with a client and they may have very unrealistic expectations.
yeah,
They just don't get it.
Yeah.
You need to educate them. You need to stop it immediately, and you need to bring the train back.
Yeah.
But if you let the train leave the station on unrealism, then it's gonna go out of control,
Yeah.
and now everybody's mad at everybody, and
Yeah.
that's not gonna be cool because the results won't be there.
Yeah.
And so we learned to work together. And there's some people that can kind of calm it down,
Yeah.
and there are other people that just fly off the handle every single transaction.
Dude, fly off the
And
rails,
they're
yeah.
just, and then afterwards, like, hey, buddy, it's all good, right? And it's like, yeah, great, they're the best.